Hey guys, what's cracking? This Krakenation here. I'm coming at you guys today to talk about FROSMOTH. FROSMOTH is a new Pokemon introduced in Generation 8, Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's really sweet Pokemon. I think it looks pretty fun to use. We're going to talk about how you can try to fit it into your competitive team and how you can try to use what sets you could use on it to make it competitively viable. So before we get into that, guys, I can't believe it, but we are honestly, it seems like on the way to 1,000 subscribers right now. And I never even thought that was possible. Just earlier this week, I was been sitting at around 200 subscribers. I've been making videos for almost 5 years, and I never minded that I didn't have a lot of subscribers. The ones that I did have always watched my videos, and they would comment and let me know what they thought. And it was really nice to know that I was able to help people, and now it feels just so good to be expanding our community and helping more and more people learn about competitive Pokemon and what it takes to be a competitive Pokemon player, and things that they can do to be better. So if you want to support the dream that I have here, guys, and if you want to support this channel and continue to learn more about Pokemon, if you want to drop a subscription, that would just be absolutely awesome. Click that subscribe button, and that would just make a world of difference to me and just really warm my heart. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys that takes the time to comment and like and subscribe. Also, we've got a Discord channel you can check out in the description box below. If you go to join that Discord, I will be able to answer your questions that you ask there a lot more efficiently because I don't check my comment section as often as I check my Discord. Now, if you do leave a comment down below, I've been doing my best to respond to as many of them as I can, but no guarantees. There's so many, and it's honestly unreal that I ever had this. I never expected to have this problem in my life. But if you want to make sure I answer your question, go ahead and ask in the Discord below. But alright, enough of that. Let's get into FROSMOTH here. So FROSMOTH is an ice bug type. Its abilities are Shield Dust and Ice Scales. Shield Dust will allow you to be immune to the secondary effects of opposing Pokemon's moves, which is pretty solid on its own. But Ice Scales is actually a really good ability that halves the damage taken from special attacks. So Ice Scales is going to put this Pokemon single-handedly into insane competitive viability, I think, which is really awesome. Now, I think the obvious comparison for this Pokemon is going to be Volcarona, right? Everyone sees this Pokemon and thinks, this is an ice and bug type, Volcarona. And unfortunately, it is not quite that good. If we take a look at these stats right off the bat, it's just not quite as good as Volcarona. Volcarona's got more special defense and more speed, which are really both notable. It's also got a little bit more HP, I think. Yep, it's got a little bit more HP. Volcarona's got 85 HP compared to 70 here. Volcarona's got very similar attack and defense stats, so obviously neither one of these is going to be a physical attacker or a physical defender, but Volcarona's got 105 Spadef, 135 special attack, and 100 speed. So don't try to compare this Pokemon to Volcarona. It is not Volcarona. The only thing that makes it have a chance to be better than, or sorry, to have a chance to even get close to how good Volcarona has been, which Volcarona has been an awesome OU Pokemon for a long time. The only thing that brings it close is that how busted this Ice Scales ability is. But let's take a look at FROSMOTH on its own. So special side, this thing's bulk is amazing because it was already maybe just a little below average, and this ability doubles it into an amazing special defender. Not that you're going to use it as a defender per se, but it does have the ability to take special hits very well. 125 special attack is fantastic. It is very excellent. Obviously, 135 from Volcarona is a little better, but 125 is still very good. 65 speed is really bad on this Pokemon, and I think, if anything, that speed stat is where we have to... The two reasons why we have to draw the line between why Volcarona is going to be so much better than FROSMOTH in general. The big one being the speed stat, and the other big one being that Volcarona's offensive typing is a lot better. Ice type is very good, don't get me wrong, as an offensive typing, but it doesn't synergize as well with bug types because this guy just cannot hit steel types, whereas Volcarona could tear steel types in half. So keep that in mind. I think FROSMOTH does have the chance to be very good. It's just going to require more team support than Volcarona did, and we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ice Scales is going to do more than I think and really propel this thing to competitive viability. Definitely has a chance to do so. Ice Scales is a fantastic ability. So we're going to have to keep that in mind when we're looking at this Pokemon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the notable moves for this guy. Bug Buzz is going to be your go-to stab bug move. It's also got some decent special coverage. Dazzling Gleam is an option. Giga Drain, Hurricane, Air Slash. Weather Ball is a cool option. If you're running this on a Hail team, you could run Aurora Veil and get that screen support instantly, which is pretty cool actually if you think about it. Aurora Veil is going to be a really cool move for this Pokemon to get if you want to run on a Hail team. And then you can run it with Weather Ball, and thanks to Weather Ball, you'll be able to hit with a better Ice type attack than Ice Beam, which I, for some reason, did not write Ice Beam on this list. But obviously this Pokemon gets Ice Beam, so realized that I forgot to write Ice Beam down, it looks like, but Ice Beam is a move that this Pokemon gets. Also really notable, actually, is running this Pokemon on a Sun team, right? Because if you run it on a Sun team, you don't get that Aurora Veil boost, obviously. But if you ran this on a Sun team, you could click Weather Ball is a move to beat up on Steel types, and all of a sudden, with that in mind, this Pokemon could maybe compete with Volcarona. I still don't know if the speed's going to be there, but that big hurdle of beating Steel types would be toppled very quickly if you ran this on a Sun team, which I think is an interesting possibility. Obviously, Quiver Dance is going to be your go-to move on this thing. That's what makes Volcarona good. That's what's going to make this Pokemon good. You're going to want to run Quiver Dance sets. It's got access to screen support and Aurora Veil, so you can do whatever you want with that. Stun Spore is an option you get. It gets U-turns for pivoting, and it also has Tailwind. So it's got a really nice support move pool for sure, and an offensive move pool. So I think it's got the chance to see success in a couple different ways. I think its offensive sets are going to be the best ones. Because its physical bulk is so bad, you're not going to have a chance to use a lot of these special moves. That said, it does have a really good special move pool overall. So unfortunately, I think the other big difference between Volcarona and this is that Volcarona got Roost, whereas this does not get Roost. So those defensive sets are not going to be very good on this. I think it did have the chance, if it got Roost, to be more defensively viable than Volcarona, but unfortunately, it does not. So we're going to have to keep that in mind. So this is the set that I made. This is the Quiver Dance set, and I gave it the heavy-duty boots to make it immune to those rocks when it comes in. Other options for items are definitely things like Stealth Rocks. Oh, sorry, wow. That was ridiculous. Our Life Orb is a really good option, I think, to make this Pokemon a little stronger. You could run a Berry to help it set up a little bit. I think the heavy-duty boots are going to be good, though, because heavy-duty boots will kind of ease your ability to switch in on the rocks that are on the field, make it not as weak to that, and then it's going to give you a chance to set up on a lot of special attackers, which is what that Ice Scales ability is going to be good for on this set, because it's going to give you a chance to set up on a wide variety of special attackers. We're running 252 special attack, 252 speed, and a timid nature. This Pokemon needs all the speed it can get. At +1, you'll outspeed base 115s, but that's going to be just about it. So you're going to need all the speed you can possibly get, so you need to run that timid nature. Ice Beam, Bug Buzz are going to be your go-to moves here. Actually, wait a second. This Pokemon does not get... Oh, wait. Yes, it does. It gets Ice Beam. I was just confused for a sec. I was looking at the move pool, and I was all of a sudden got worried that I was lying to you guys, but I'm not. Ice Beam is going to be your go-to. Ice Beam, Bug Buzz. I think Bug Buzz is actually potentially droppable. It gets a little bit of redundant coverage where they both hit grass types. If you wanted to run two of the moves I outlined below, you could, but I think your best bet is going to be to run Ice Beam, Bug Buzz, and then pick one of the below to hit the things you're not hitting as best you can. Notably, obviously, you're never going to be able to hit Steel types with this thing unless you're running Weather Ball on a Sun team. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. If you're running Weather Ball on a Sun team, don't run Hurricane. That's obvious. Giga Drain is going to give you that extra survivability and the ability to beat down water types a little harder. Dazzling Gleam is a little, it's a little iffy. Because it is kind of redundant with Bug Buzz hitting Dark types, Ice Beam hitting Dragon types. You don't really need Dazzling Gleam that much. Hurricane is also redundant because it's another move to hit Grass types, I suppose. But it also lets you hit things like bug types and stuff like that. So I think Giga Drain is probably your best bet when you're running this set. It'll let you beat those water types that come in to try to take Ice Beam from you, and also gives you that a little bit of extra recovery, so hopefully you can continue your sweep and not be as susceptible to things like priority damage and chip. The next set I've got here is a Choice Scarf set. Again, we're going to re-scarf with Ice Scales. Ice Scales is just that good. This set kind of foregoes that offensive power to just already be fast. It's going to run the exact same set, but you're going to replace Quiver Dance with U-Turn in this case. And that's going to give you the chance to just be a pivot option on your team. I think this is really good. I think another set that you could possibly run is going to be some kind of Hail Team Aurora Veil set, but that's going to be more of a supportive set, and this Pokemon doesn't have Roost, and it's going to need to be on a Hail Team because it can't bring the Hail itself, unlike Alolan Ninetales, which had the ability to bring the Hail, and then it could set up Aurora Veil afterwards. So I think the defensive set isn't as viable on Frosmoth, but I think the best set's going to be your Quiver Dance set for sure, and that's the set that I would try if I was using Frosmoth. So looking at some pros and cons, it's got obviously fantastic special bulk thanks to its ability Ice Scales, which halves the damage from all special attacks. It's got good special offense and access to good stabs on both sides between Bug Buzz and Ice Beam. It's got a lot of useful utility moves, like we talked about. It's still got stuff like Sun Spore, Aurora Veil, U-turn, stuff like that. So it's good pivot options, so it's good. And I think it looks sweet. I think this Pokemon is really well designed. I think it looks suave. If I had a male Frosmoth on my competitive team, I would name it Mr. Steal Your Girl, because this thing looks like he's coming in to steal your girl. This thing is suave, is how I would describe it. This thing looks so suave. But unfortunately, there are some cons, like with any Pokemon. It's got very poor physical bulk. So you're going to be really susceptible to things that are hitting you on the physical side. It's got bad speed if you don't have a boost, which is why, if you notice, both of the sets that I recommended had ways to boost this Pokemon speed. It can't touch steel types whatsoever unless you're running Weather Ball, which is why I suggested maybe running this thing on a Sun team. Could be interesting. And then finally, it's weak to rocks without boots, which is why I gave it boots, because if you don't run boots, this thing's going to be really, really frail. It's going to be really hampered, and you're going to have to really heavily support it with hazard clearing. Speaking of which, let's talk about ways you can support this Pokemon when building it as a part of your team, and also some things you need to look out for that are going to be big threats to it. First up, Pokemon that can beat steel types. If Magnezone were in this generation, this Pokemon would love Magnezone because it could really help it defeat steel types that are in the game. Hazard Clear is going to be really good, especially if you're not running boots. Hazard Clears will help you just obviously keep this Pokemon's health up when it's trying to set up for a sweep. Pivot Partners will be good if you're running a Scarf set. Pivot Partners not only can help you get more chip on your opponents before this thing comes into sweep, but Pivot Partners will give you the option, if this was running U-turn, to set up defensive cores. Now, the problem with that is this Pokemon, if rocks are on the field, cannot be pivoting around all day. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to be really careful about that. That Scarf set's biggest downfall is that you can't pivot a lot if there's rocks on the field. Finally, a couple of types you can pair this with are ground types and water types. Ground types are really nice because they synergize offensively. Ground types will be able to beat those steel types that this Pokemon really struggles with. So that'll be really helpful for it, for sure. It also will allow it to... Ground types will take hits from rock types that this is weak to, and that's always nice. What's nice is also that this Pokemon resists a lot of the things that ground types are weak to. So like this Pokemon resists grass, it resists ice. It resists grass and ice, which are both two types that ground is weak to. So good defensive synergy with ground types. Another Pokemon type that I think you could pair this with is going to be the water type. Water types will obviously be able to switch into those steel types that this thing fears. Water types are assisted by the fact that this thing beats up on grass types. Water types will also resist the fire types that this is weak to and beat rock types that this is weak to. So those are two types that you're going to want to look out for when you're pairing this with a teammate. For big threats, like I keep mentioning, steel types are a huge problem for Frosmoth, so you're going to need to be careful about steel types on your opponent's team. Also, decent physical priority moves will be a huge problem for this Pokemon. So a good extreme speed or something like that could be a huge problem when it absolutely destroys you because of your low defensive ability and defensive stats. Fire types are kind of a big problem too because it can't hit steel types. It also really struggles to hit struggles to hit fire types as well because of things like the fact that its stabs are both resisted, and its coverage moves that hit it are unreliable because Giga Drain and Dazzling Gleam, its two perfect accuracy coverage moves, are still resisted, and Hurricane would be its best move to hit fire types, and that's not perfect accuracy, not stab, so not great option to hit fire types. Finally, Stealth Rocks is going to be the biggest concern when you're running Frosmoth, and that's why I think you're going to want to run Boots very possibly on Frosmoth. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. Let me know what you guys think about Frosmoth and whether or not you're excited to use it in competitive play. I know that I am. I think it's going to have some shortcomings, so I think it's going to be important that you take note of what I said in the team options section so you support it well. It's definitely, I think if you're comparing this Pokemon to Volcarona, you're going to kind of be disappointed because Volcarona does a lot of things better than this does, unfortunately. But I think the ability here is what's going to propel this thing to any chance to be competitively viable, and it certainly could be competitively viable. If you enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date with all of the Krakenation content, be sure to drop a subscribe, guys. It is always so appreciated and really warms my heart and just really makes me more motivated to keep pumping out these videos. If you want to like this video or get involved in our Discord, make sure to check the description box below. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Krakenation out.